Tonight I'm here to talk to you about Cirque de Geek. Cirque de Geek is a free 3-day mini convention that is hosted by the Waterville Public Library annually in the second weekend of September. It's a celebration of everything that excites us about being a geek, including events based around cosplay, comics, anime, and more. For those of you who may not be familiar with them, fan conventions like Cirque are events where people gather to celebrate shared interests, which can include but isn't limited to anime, comics, video games, or science fiction. This picture was taken at Anime Boston this year, which was attended by over 25,000 people. AB focuses primarily on anime and animation style originating in Japan. This picture was taken after our very first cosplay parade in 2013, which was Cirque de Geek's first year. It was more than a little chaotic, but in the end, it was a great, truly unforgettable weekend, thanks to a group of dedicated library staff and volunteers. Each year since Cirque has grown as we figure out how to do this just a little bit better. So the term cosplay is one that you're going to hear me use a lot. Many of Cirque de Geek's events relate to it, and it's a big part of what we do. The term is a contraction of the words costume play and is used to describe the practice of representing a specific character using costumes and accessories. As an example, this is a friend and I cosplaying Captain America and the Winter Soldier at PortCon in Portland, Maine. Most people who attend fan conventions cosplay to a certain extent. Some cosplayers decide to portray characters exactly, others put their own spin on things. Their costumes are either made, commissioned, or purchased. In any case, the end result is an amazing expression of creativity and dedication. Two of the events we do every year at Cirque are a cosplay parade and contest. The parade is a chance for participants to show off their costumes in a low-key environment as we make a loop around Main Street. The contest is later on, and cosplayers who enter are judged on the quality of their costume and how well they portray the character. Not all costumes have to be handmade to enter. Cirque de Geek has a different theme every year. This influences what we do and who we invite as guests to a certain extent. The first couple years we didn't really have a particular theme, but year 3 was sword and sorcery, year 4 was the stars and beyond, and this year our theme is spooky. As you can see, a themed cake is also part of our closing ceremonies, if that influences your decision whether to come or not. As Cirque grows, our schedule of panels and events changes. But one of our annual events is Make a Monster, where participants create their own plush creature. Here you see a Deadpool cosplayer working on their project. Make a Monster has been very popular from the beginning and would not be possible without the hard work of Jennifer DeSalm. A month or so before Cirque de Geek every year, Jen and I start sewing assorted fabric shapes by hand, and in September we have a box of mismatched torsos, heads and limbs made out of fabric. During Cirque, attendees get to select their pieces and fashion them into a creature of their own design, as you saw in the previous picture. We have a lot of other panels that we do, including tutorials, gaming events, sing-alongs, and informational panels. This was taken during a cosplay makeup tutorial hosted by Cirque de Geek staffer Rachel Bishop last year. Some of the other events we did were Candy Sushi, Make Your Own Golden Snitch, and a Super Smash Bros. Tournament, which took place in our game room, which this is, and it's open for 2 out of 3 days from Cirque since year 2, and is sponsored by Maine, a convention based in Portland. We offer a variety of donated consoles and games, and it's been a really great place for people to hang out in between events. On the library's first floor, we have a registration and vendor area for Cirque. Our main vendor has been Weekend Anime, an anime and gaming store in Westbrook. We also have tables for artists, which I hope to do again this year, and promotional tables for guests, and sometimes visiting conventions, so it's really good. Okay, so speaking of guests, we've had several over the years. Some of our past guests include the Mandalorian Mercs, a Star Wars costuming club, who are really great people, by the way. We've also been visited by local authors Sharon Lee and Steve Miller, as well as Tyson Pease, who is a comic/illustration artist, and Mary Plush, another author. So that's all been good. I'm really looking forward to this year. Not only is there a fantastic schedule of events being planned, but we're going to have more guests than ever. We'll be visited by the Maine Ghostbusters, a Maine-based Ghostbusters impersonator group, a representative from the Maine Horror Writers Guild, Mary Plush once again, and several visiting panelists. Another of our 2017 guests is Jeff Klein. Jeff is a film and television writer-producer. Series he's developed or produced include Transformers Prime and Extreme Ghostbusters. He's also founded Darby Pop, a comic book publishing company. And aside from Jeff, we are also going to have one more guest who I can't quite announce yet, but stay tuned because it's exciting. Now I want to talk about 2 evening events we'll be having on the first day of Cirque de Geek this year. For the first time, we'll have a guest Q&A session hosted at the Waterville Opera House featuring Jeff and our mystery guest. Following this panel will be a dance featuring PortCon Maine's DJ Mick Pratt, which should be a super good time. Thanks to the involvement and enthusiasm of community partners, we'll also be offering events prior to Cirque de Geek. There will be 3 instructional workshops in August: wig styling, basic sewing, and cosplay prop making, which will be hosted by Common Street Arts and sponsored by the Colby Center for Arts and Humanities. That was one that I'd made myself, you saw just then. For the last 3 years of Cirque, we've been lucky enough to be able to work with the Railroad Square Cinema, who has offered a special discounted showing of a popular movie that fits our theme. So far, they've offered Akira, The Princess Bride, and Spaceballs. It's always been a great way to kick off Cirque, and I look forward to it every year. Oops. As I wrap up this presentation, I want to mention the Cirque de Geek staff. They are a fantastic group of hardworking people who volunteer their time to make sure that Cirque de Geek is an amazing experience every year. A tremendous amount of work and love really goes into making this happen, and I feel incredibly lucky to work with them all. One last note, as I've said before, the theme for Cirque de Geek 2017 is spooky. We have a lot of great events planned, and the dates are September 8th through 10th. If you'd like to be a part of the fun and host a panel, please talk to me later. And thank you for letting me tell you about our convention.